Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is the Lost Cards for our Prosper Tome-Bound episode. I'm here with Mike Carosa. Say
That's
hi.
me. Hello.
Yes. And we had a really fun deck this week where we talked about this new card from the AFR Commander decks. We were exiling cards from the top of our library, from the top of our opponent's libraries. We were casting them, getting treasures. We really had a great, there's a ton of synergy going on in this deck, but there were definitely some cards that we didn't get to in the episode, as you know. And there's definitely some different avenues you could have taken this commander that we didn't fully explore. And that's, of course, what the Lost Cards is all about. So let's get right into it here. We did mention this, we have a little bit of a little package of this inside of our big deck. Exactly. Very small, but still nice and effective. But what about Pirate Tribal for this deck?
Pirate Tribal.
You have to talk about tribal decks.
Yeah. Prosper doesn't seem like a pirate captain, but make no mistake, he could lead a crew to swab the poop deck, all right? We already talked about breaches and captivating crew, but if you really wanted to lean pirates, there's Captain Lannery Storm, who attacks and makes a treasure token, and whenever you sack a treasure token, it gets +1/+0. That's a pretty good thing. You can use Coercive Recruiter, which is like a Zealous Conscript. It enters, or whenever another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, you threaten one of their creatures, and it becomes a pirate. So that's pretty wild, and you've got anthems like Direfleet Captain, which gets +1/+1 for each other attacking pirate. Emberwild Captain, which gives you the Monarch and still keeps opponents away from you. It's a pirate, but that's another something that I wanted to talk about too.
Coercive Recruiter is before you go on to the next one. Coercive Recruiter is the one that jumped out at me that we didn't include it in the main deck because we didn't have that many pirates. Whereas this is the one that every time a pirate comes, you steal something. You steal a creature, right? You threaten a creature. But in an actual this would be one of the main. This and breaches are the main reasons to make Prosper into a pirate deck, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
These are the main reasons for it, and you could really gain a lot of value off of this, and you lean more into that sacrificing angle and stuff like that. Or and hear me out on this. What if you were to build we got this Coercive Recruiter, we've got Captivating Crew, so we're stealing creatures, but what if we're not sacrificing them? It's kind of this thing, everyone, we all do that, and then people hate it when you steal their creatures and they come for you, right? So much like when I built the mono blue clone, that's all. The cloning decks are always same. They're always the mind control decks. They're always kind of mashed into one. But I didn't want to steal anything. Well, what if we don't sacrifice stuff? People will be like, okay.
All right.
Hey, look,
you're not sending that at me, are you?
No sack outlets, not coming towards you. I'm just going to borrow your creature to do more damage with your own creature. That's great.
You get to do what they wanted you to do with that Tongarth card.
That's right. Tongarth. That's right. Yeah. So, I mean, it feels kind of wrong to not sacrifice them in a Rakdos deck, but, it's a possibility.
If you do still want to sacrifice it, if you're listening to us and you're going no, I want to sacrifice those creatures, then put a Pitiless Plunderer in there and make some treasures out of the deal. Also, a nice synergy between Coercive Recruiter and Ragavan Nimble Pilferer is that you can dash out Ragavan, grab one of their creatures, and then you get to do that next turn again for 2 mana. So, you're... that's really a pretty sweet. Of course, Ragavan is $100.
Maybe the best 1-drop ever.
It's not even. Is it even that good in modern? A lot of speculation about that card is this even that worth it? But
is modern a format still? I don't know.
It is. It's been revitalized. It's very good. It's very good.
I'm sure.
Port Razor is also one, a good pirate that gives you extra combat steps, so you get more hits off of breaches hitting opponents. You get more cards from the top of their libraries. You get to cast those, and of course that a theme that also was kind of removed was exclusively taken from your opponent's deck. Right. Yeah, a thing that we had early on was breaches and Itali were what else can we grab? We have Grenzo, who not only goads stuff away, but if you hit an opponent, you can grab a card from their library to play.
That's Grenzo Havoc Razor, the 2 red.
That's right. Oh, right? Yes. Yeah. Not the.
There's a couple of Grenzos. Yeah.
There was opposition agent with symmetry, scheming symmetry stuff like symmetrical tutoring, or like Varagoth and Marilyn of the Morn Song, like a bit of a meaner deck altogether.
Yeah, that's definitely like something where if we have opposition agent, we're not letting people search their libraries, or / we do it when
exactly.
they do it, right?
You want them to search their libraries, but for you. Douthie Voidwalker is another one where like anything hits their graveyard, well, that's going to be exiled for me to use later. So
that's a great card. A little like
so
we said,
good.
like I think mostly this one would have still been in the deck had it not been for like the budget concern of us.
It's still like $10.
It's like $11 or something like that. So like it's if you have the. This one should have been in the pricey cards we didn't include, because you could make room for this card in the deck and still have it be budget. Like. And it's a very good card in the deck for sure.
I think the biggest one out of this theme would be Valky, God of Lies, a.k.a. Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter. Right. Now, obviously, I would want to cast him for the Tibalt side, just because like you exile the top of each player's library on a +2, and you could play those cards. And it's removal for -3, and then you exile all cards from graveyards and add 3 mana, play whatever you want, and then, I guess I have enough mana to play this Oblivion Sower, and I just hit the Gitrog monster deck's graveyard, and now I have all their lands in play. So there is a meaner version of this deck, and it is definitely like based on I'm playing your deck now. But of course, that would lean on a little bit more protection, like more Cunning Rhetoric stuff, more Hellish Rebuke, more Emberwild Captain, etc. And then the final theme that we kind of like still somewhat leaned into but didn't explore completely was like just full on artifacts, like going deep on artifacts. So the Duretti Ingenious Iconoclast.
Yeah, Ingenious Iconoclast. Yeah.
I'm
kind of always looking. Yeah. I love the first Duretti so much. Like I basically took that precon and like just upgraded it over the years. I still have it. It's a fun deck to play. I love the mono red Duretti. So when this Duretti dropped, and I was like, I can't really use it because it's 2 colors, and I don't have a deck that wants this. But I do always have it.
Commander.
But I do always have it in the back of my head of like I want to use this card because I like the character of Duretti so much. So so it's fun to be able to talk about this guy and have it be, I think, pretty good in like more of an artifact devoted
for sure
a deck here, with it making like constructs and sacrificing artifacts, and like it gets to destroy stuff, like you're sacking treasures and doing that. That's really cool.
The thing is, like that ultimate is pretty spicy too, where you get to make 3 tokens of a card in a graveyard, or an artifact in the graveyard, or an artifact in the battlefield. Like that could be pretty spicy. Like the one, I mean, the target that I would want to pick is Girper Orrery, because I'd just want to be like, just go draw 9 cards.
That's definitely like Uba's Mask and like. We talked about Uba's Mask and Girper Orrery in the main episode, but like those are cards that I think just stay in the deck for this artifact version, right? Like they're just still very good. Yeah.
I think that with Ingenious Iconoclast, it becomes kind of a more defensive game to get you to that ultimate, or to continuously destroy their artifacts and creatures, like your opponent's stuff. It becomes a little bit more control-y with him in it, but to lean into the artifacts, Scrap Savant, and like obviously like Scrap Mastery, artifacts that you want to kind of take into the graveyard, and that would cost a very little mana to cast from exile. So there's a lot of stuff, man. It's I think this commander is pretty open-ended, but I like what we've come to with it. I do feel like I've had so much fun brewing this list. Like I said on the podcast, I was like, man, I've been looking at this list every night. Like it's what a brew. It's been fun.
It's fun. I just like not that long ago took apart my main Rakdos deck. In fact, I took apart my Rakdos deck, which was Greven, which
Captain.
Yeah, Greven Predator Captain. It just wasn't really my play style. I didn't end up loving playing it, even though I was really excited about that card when it came out in that deck. But that's turned into Willow Dusk, and I'm having fun still with the idea that deck wanted to do. So I still feel like I am playing it, just more my version of it. And I took apart my Vampires deck, which started as Rakdos, made it into Mardu. So like I am kind of tempted to make this as well. Like it's fun. It does something kind of different but also still feels very Rakdos. I love it.
It definitely feels very Rakdos because there's like it's the theme of dealing with a deal with the devil is very present with this commander.
What's the card from Forgotten Realms? It's a Rakdos. It's a legendary.
Kalain?
Yeah, how do you spell that?
Kalain. The uncommon legend from the main set, and like the artist, it's like a Kalain reclusive painter.
That's it. That's exactly what it is.
Bard.
She's a bard.
Yeah.
Other creatures you control enter the battlefield with additional +1/+1 counter on them for each mana from a treasure spent to cast them. Like you could lean this way, and we could have much more of a creature focused deck if we included some stuff like this. This is neat.
I'll say the only reason this didn't make the cut in the deck that we presented was because the only creature I could think of that I would want to spend all that treasure on would be Marionette Master.
Yeah. It makes sense because it's not a super creature like attacking based deck, right? Like that's
and
a
there
different,
isn't really
that's a different deck.
Much use for like the +1/+1 counters in other ways. So it kind of felt out of place. Like ETBing and giving you a treasure token, love it. But like, let's say you had Marionette Master, you're already putting 3 +1/+1 counters, so it's a 4/7 at its base, and you spend 6 mana from treasures. That's 10 damage. That's 10 life loss to an opponent every treasure. So it's like it's so good. It's so good, but it's like. To have one card in the deck for one other card, even if it is one of your best win conditions, it's not regularly going to be.
Yeah.
So this is like a lost card in that sense that like we wanted this to work so badly.
Yeah. I could see like if you're so we're doing a lot of this exiling with Prosper, we end up casting those creatures using treasure tokens, let's say, and we have Kalain out, getting something like Warstorm Surge and that type of card where we're getting like we're making these creatures bigger so that when they enter they deal direct damage.
Exactly.
That could be something to look at. I mean, that's
not a bad move.
Generally good card, but it's just a different avenue for this deck. I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. I love it.
I'm looking at this list
do a lot of different stuff here.
I'm looking at our list again, and I'm thinking to myself, we made the right call to remove it.
I think so too. I don't think it goes in the deck that we were talking about.
Not at all. But man, it was so tempting just staring that Marionette Master line in the face and being like,
it's a cool little synergy.
10 per treasure that ends a game on.
It also kind of feels bad to sacrifice 6 treasures to cast Marionette Master because you're like, I want those 6 treasures to be around. I want to deal 24 damage.
60 damage, yeah.
Right? It'll be 60 after the fact, but like, so it can be tough to miss out on that damage.
But in this deck, you're making so much. Like, oh man, we didn't even talk about Share the Spoils, which just read it, enjoy it for what it is. It's a beautiful card. It's so good. It's one of the new ones, and yeah. Anyway, those are the lost cards I could think of that I.
Share the Spoils 2-mana enchantment. When it enters or an opponent loses the game, exile the top card of each player's library.
Insane.
And that's wild. And then during each player's turn, that player may play a land or cast a spell from among cards exiled with Share the Spoils, and they may spend mana as or any color. When they do, exile the top card of their library, so you get a fresh one each time.
To me, this feels like a fixed knowledge pool, because you don't have to do like that weird mental math of like, I want to play this Brainstorm in my hand, but I can't play the Brainstorm. I have to play the Brainstorm to play something from Knowledge Pool, which is it's all Wraths, and I don't want to do that. But then I have to have something small to cast so I can play this Brainstorm afterwards. So you're paying more. This is just like, no, Brainstorm is in the pool. I'm gonna play it. Here we go. Oh, I just put in Fathom Fleet Swordjack into the pool.
Yeah, this is
a little bit of chaos, but it's. I think it would be so fun to have. Like a format night for Commander where this just starts on the table and can't be removed. I think personally that would be a fun game style to be like, hey, are we playing our high-powered decks that like would be completely bamboozled if we had to share stuff? Yes, cool. Let's have some fun.
That's
and then
wild.
Just have a wild night with like, man, I'm gonna play that card that you just exiled, and then you exile like, oh no, I just gave you a culling ritual. Like, oh man. Oh,
I love
God.
it. Yeah, chaos. Yeah, that's great. This is a fun card.
It's my favorite card
excited
of the
to
new
see this
set.
card get
It's
played. That's gonna be cool.
100% my favorite card from the pre-con, and I'm gonna get a bunch of them because I would love to do that commander format I just said. I think it'd be fun. I want to get a big size version.
Spoiler alert! Here comes a new commander format.
Bing bong.
Here we go. Well, that's it for the Lost Cards. Check out of course, the original episode, our Prosper Tome-Bound, here on the YouTube channel, of course, or wherever you get your audio podcasts. Mike, why don't you let everyone know where they can find you, our special guest this week? That would be great.
You know what? Let me make it easy for you. Linktree/Mike Carrozza. linktr.ee/MikeCarrozza. That's where you're going to find my Instagram, my Twitter, the fact that I write for Commander's Herald, my podcasts, plural, my Patreon, my Discord server, my album, all of it. You'll find all of that on Linktree. So that's just the best way to go for it.
Love Linktree. It's been a real boon for things like this.
It really has.
Real helpful.
It really has.
Yeah, it's been great. And then some people have a Linktree that's like way too big. You know, it's like they have like 50 things on their Linktree. I'm just like, this is way worse. This is not what this is for.
I feel nuts with like 12.
That's fine. Like at least that can fit on one thing. I'm like, okay, these are all the things I can get Mike.
You know what's been helpful? The folders. You can put them in categories now, which is
that's what you need. That's what you need. Because I just saw there was a friend of mine. I checked it out the other day, and I was like, "There's like 50 things here. I don't know where I'm supposed. Where am I looking?" But there you go. Check out Mike's. Check out all Mike's stuff. Check out all of our stuff. Check out our sponsors. Sean will be back. I think next week we're gonna see our boy Sean back again.
Papa Shango is coming back.
That's right. But until then, we will be back next week with a brand new deck tech. We'll see you then.
Thanks for watching. If you love what we're doing, consider supporting the show by going to patreon.com/commandersbrew.
And if you want to get any of the cards from our deck list, go to our TCG Player affiliate link below.
That helps us out too. And for a free way to help us out, consider sharing the show with some friends. Like and subscribe, add a comment or two.
See you later.
Bye.